Hello again, Dwayne Brummett here with Ali Alberigo, SchoolOwnerTalk.com. Good morning, Ali, and it is wonderful to be with you and our special guest today.
How are you, man? Everyone could hear each other well. Gus, good to see you.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. I love the new intro.
Yeah.
Hey, and I want to thank you, Ali, for allowing us to move this time a little bit too, just because I've had some things come up in my schedule, so we're going to do it a little bit differently than we've done before. But we got Gus Lopez on, our guest today from Lead Hunter Media, and he's also one of our podcast sponsors as well. And so, it's funny, Gus, that how long have we been working together? First and foremost, I don't remember. Has it been 4 years now?
Yeah, I think like 3 years, going on 3 years now.
Okay, yeah. All right, Ali, same thing, right? About the same time.
It seems a lot longer than that. I deal with Gus on a daily basis, so it seems like 10 years, like almost 10 or 12.
Now, I will say that doesn't sound good for advertising that you deal with him on a daily basis. So,
yeah,
he wants to. He messages me first all the time.
Yeah, I think that I think it's got like 3+ years, right? We started soon before the pandemic, like
we were a
year prior to that. So I mean, you're looking at 2 years pandemic so like 3 to 4 years it's been about. Pretty awesome.
So Gus, we're going to dive into some things that people can obviously utilize social media for, but I'm curious because I know that in the beginning when you started, you were just strictly Facebook ads and helping us martial arts school owners get clients in via Facebook. But the nice thing is that your service has broadened, which I would definitely love to talk about some of those things as well today. And I guess before we dive in, I want to say that I appreciate you allowing me to talk to some of your potential future clients. They have questions, they want to bounce ideas like, what has Gus done for you and those type of things. So I want to tell you, I appreciate that. Ali, do you get, or does he only allow me to talk to future clients?
No, he doesn't even tell me anymore. And they all of a sudden they call me up. Like I had a lady call me at the dojo the other day. I'm like, Long Island Jiu-Jitsu Centers, how may I help you? They're like, hi, I'm calling about Gus Lopez. I'm like, about what? And they asked me what was going on. But it was interesting because she had a laundry list of questions, like really organized questions. How did he do? Like almost like she was interviewing me for a job. How did he handle something when it didn't go so well? Like that kind of thing. And, it was like the whole customer service questionnaire. But I really don't. I think that it's been seamless working with Gus. Like, it's been very natural and comfortable. I think that that's cool. For me, he's always like kind of worked with me to get through whatever struggles we were having. My mindset's a little different. Like I didn't blame him if something wasn't working. Like I knew it was him working for me as a team member versus like, oh, Gus sucks. I didn't get any ads this week. Like that kind of thing. I'm like, hey, Gus, something's not working. He'd go, okay, let's try X, Y, and Z. Try this picture, try that ad, try this combination. I mean, Gus, right? It took us probably like 5 different specials to find something that actually that legitimately worked. And some of those specials don't work. My special doesn't work for some people and their specials didn't work for me. So that's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. And one thing about that is like, since we started working 3 years ago, obviously a lot of systems have improved now with our ads and, our sales process and everything like that. So now we're a little bit faster when it comes to the results, but we understand that there's still a lot of things that need to happen for this to actually be successful. Like you guys are really good at like following up. You really have a smooth sales process. So we've gone, from just kind of doing Facebook ads to actually expanding into all the other platforms, having systems, putting a system in place for them so that not only they're getting leads and appointments, but they're able to take those people and actually convert them into paying students, because you guys know it's not just about calling somebody up and them coming in. Like there's a whole process. They have to show up. You have to follow up. They have to show up. Once they show up, they have to make sure that they enjoy the classes and they go through a sales process. Obviously that's a whole process that we now coach and help people through. And, like we mentioned in the morning, a lot of people, they're just trying to find, the perfect the perfect thing, right? The perfect marketing agency. But really, I mean, if you're not marketing right now, whether it's with me or anybody else, like you just have to get the ball rolling. You can't overthink it when it comes to marketing, because what happens is a lot of people wait until they're like really hurting to start marketing. And obviously that's the worst time to do it, because you don't really have a lot of money to invest in advertising. So I'd rather just, get something going. Even if you don't get the best results, whether you do it on your own or whether you hire somebody, just get the ball rolling so that you don't put yourself in that position where you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the thing I like best about our relationship is, you're just a text away, or you're a message away, or a phone call away, or whatever. And I think I messaged you. Were you on like a little birthday sabbatical or something?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was more of like my mentors actually, they threw an event in Costa Rica, so that's why you can see my tan in my shirt. But yeah, it was great. I hadn't had a vacation in a while. It really gave me some new ideas, and I feel rejuvenated. And also it gave me I learned a lot when it comes to the business aspect of how to serve my clients better, how to make things better, how to continue to grow and stuff like that. So it was really good.
Yeah, and my point was, I even bothered you on that time, and you still got back to me. So I appreciate that.
No worries.
So all right, so I know so for us in the beginning, we are, and we still are, using your marketing system with regards to leads, coming in through the door, but we're using our CML or our CRM service, which for us is Spark Membership, in order to in order to get those leads and process them and have all the back end work. But I just want other people to know that they don't have to have what we have. And I say we, me and Allie and I should say, both have Spark Membership, because if they want your full service, I mean, you actually have all of those things and some of the follow-ups for your clients. Am I right?
Yeah, and obviously I want to big thanks to you guys, because I was like, you guys are doing it successfully. Let me get some ideas from you guys, and you guys are really generous in giving me some advice and helping me kind of build those backend systems. So yeah, if you sign up with us, you don't really need anything. All you need is just a good attitude and yeah, just to be committed to actually making this work. But yeah, now we have, like I said, we have so many components. Like there's three main things that we have. Obviously, number one is getting people in the door. So we do that through our advertising platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. There's obviously some other ones like Google and YouTube. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much an all-in-one type of acquisition agency here in the martial arts space. The second step would be actually the follow-up. So actually coaching how to do the follow-ups and having that back-end follow system, that CRM, that some people use Spark. If you don't have Spark, you can use our system, which is very, very similar. And then yeah, lastly, just actually making sure that when people come in, they have a smooth sales process so that they can actually enroll and stay with you for 12 months, 24 months, 36 plus months, right? And that's what everybody wants. So that's kind of the main I guess bird's eye view of how our system works.
And I think that, that's where some school owners fall short, where you're allowing them to learn. And what I mean by that is this, we get it. When I first started, I knew nothing about marketing at all. And, I got on Facebook. I was doing it myself. I wanted leads, right? Mm-hmm. I did it very poorly. I probably spent more money than I should have rather than hiring somebody to do it, but I did it myself. And I just got out there and spent the money. But I quickly had to understand that once I get these leads, I have to have a process that is going to allow them to, schedule, and then a process to make sure that they showed up, a process so that if they didn't show up, a process if they did show up, how I was going to take them from A to Z. And then for me, that actually took, years and thousands of dollars paid to coaches and mentors to learn those things. So one of those individuals was Stephen Oliver. The next one for me was Keith Hafner. That one was a big one for me, was Grandmaster Hafner. His really, so Oliver was, get him in the door, create these leads, yada, yada, yada. Not that he wasn't the back end either, but do you have it playing in the background too? Because I hear a reverb.
No, I don't even have sound anymore on my when I'm watching on Facebook. It automatically mutes my Facebook feed and all the other audio. I did hear your voice bounce back a little, but
yeah, I'm hearing myself.
Maybe it's me. I don't know. My mic.
No,
yeah, I don't know.
Sounds better now.
Okay, but anyhow, Hafner really talked about what he was the path. So once they come in, the steps that you need to take them through in order to, have them make a decision on whether they're going to join your school or not. And so I know from the beginning, like I didn't know all that stuff, and so to have a marketing agency that actually, not only brings the leads in, but then says, hey, here's how you should, or here's how we suggest. I guess we shouldn't say should. Allie, what did Graydon say to you?
He said, if you keep shooting, you're going to should all over yourself.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, that was John Graydon, the gentleman who created NAPMA and now has a Martial Arts Teachers Association, but otherwise known as MATA. But so anyhow, to have a marketing agency that not only does those things for you, but then also educates you while those things are happening. Because it's one thing just to, it's all done, I don't need to do anything. And that's all well and nice, but it's also nice to be able to understand the process and kind of make it your own with some of maybe your own verbiage, but not altering the system, because we know that the system works. So I applaud you in that. And I'm curious, how do martial arts school owners take that with regards to, because I think you probably break it down where, this is one service, this is another service, this is another service, and I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. But is it all kind of broken up and then they can, pick what they want, or is it, all in one? And how do they respond to, those type of things, you educating them? Because sometimes it's hard to educate martial arts school owners.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of different options now, but really, like I said, that 3-step process is the same. And I think, what holds a lot of people back is the mindset when it comes to advertising, because, when have you heard, this from a school owner, these leads are bad quality, or these are not quality leads. And then obviously it's like, for us, it's like, we're getting people, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like we can target higher demographic areas, we can target better audiences, but at the end of the day, there still needs to be an understanding that this is cold traffic, which in the marketing world means that these are people on Facebook who are scrolling by. They've never heard of you before. They've never been to your school. They don't know how great of a teacher you are, how many black belts and trophies you have. So you really have to, you can't expect to treat them the same when it comes to follow up and nurturing than if you were to treat somebody that search for you on Google and they already know that they want to do martial arts. They already seen your website. They already seen your testimonials, and maybe they've been to your school. That's a whole different sales process and follow up process than somebody that is scrolling through Facebook and they click on your ad because they think it's cool, right? Or they like the offer. So I think the biggest thing is just the mindset aspect. I feel like people just write it off like, oh, it's a bad quality lead. They call them like twice and then they give up on them. And it's like, well, you can't just do that.
Well, Gus, what's interesting? I started marketing before you were born, in my school. And
yes, you'll have to bring that up.
I'm proud of you, dude. You're so young. Like you're doing this stuff and you're 27, right? Right? You're 27. I mean, yes. Like you're way ahead of so many people doing things that you did. And that's why I bring up that age thing. But when I started marketing, check this out. Dwayne too, we would run an ad in the paper maybe. We would maybe put an ad on, Penny Saver. We'd do flyers. We would do rack cards. We would do boxes where people could put their names in. All of these different things. And never once do I ever remember going, oh, this box gets, I might have had a box where people would fill out their name and it was always like, people with fake names, Jim Shorts, Stiff Richards, Dick Hertz, things like that, names like that. But I never looked at a lead, not one lead ever, as a good quality or bad quality lead. It was a lead. So like some panned out, some didn't. I don't know why we've been so spoiled with the advent of social media and how they could target and retarget and do all this really cool analytical stuff based on, criteria, moms maybe with children. There's a lot more, you could really dial it in with, with the way you set it up. But for me, I'm like, any lead that calls or inquires or asks me or walks through my door, I'm like super overjoyed. Now I have an opportunity to sell them. And you might think that, hey, they pull up in this car that's backfiring, that's rotting away, and you're going to go, oh, they can't afford it. And they'll sign up. And then I have people that are in Mercedes that, drive up in a brand new Mercedes and they complain about every little thing.
Right.
So there's no real right or wrong. I think that you keep mentioning mindset before you mention good attitude, right? All you have to have is a good attitude. What I think you meant by good attitude is being open enough to understand that this is a work in progress, right? So they're not going to cancel. Gus, I tried it for a month. You didn't get me leads. I'm out. They're going to be like, and how can we work together? So for me, for instance, I can't stand doing phone calls. I'm good at it, but I hate it. I'd rather be watching Netflix or playing my guitar. So I hired a virtual assistant. She officially started yesterday, and she called people that I've been texting and emailing from. She called those people, set up 7 appointments. So you say to yourself, like, what happened? They didn't get my text, or they ignored my text. They ignored my email. Maybe they didn't read it. Maybe it went to the wrong spot. She called and boom. Now, I don't know if they're going to come in, but maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I'm happy I got 6 or 7 more people on my calendar because I took that next step of follow-up. A lot of school owners don't take the time.
Well, and here's the other thing alongside of that is the school owners are only thinking linear. They're thinking one way. And what I mean by that, this goes back to a call you and I did talking about the spider legs, right?
Yeah.
Or the spider web.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're only thinking linear, that this is a bad lead because they didn't either show up to the appointment or no, let me back up. Didn't make the appointment.
Right.
Or made the appointment and didn't show up.
Yeah.
Or made the appointment, showed up and only came to one class. Or made the appointment, showed up, did all the classes and did not register.
Right.
So they in their eyes are a bad lead.
Right.
But we're forgetting that that's not the only service that most of us are in. And so there's other legs or other webs, other entities in the web of what you have to offer.
Right.
So that one program is only one program. You probably have a self-defense program. You probably have birthday parties or maybe summer camps or even parents' night outs or just an array of different things that you can offer them. Just because they didn't join or didn't come in doesn't mean they won't have another experience with you. But as long as you treat them correctly, I guess I look at all these as our opportunities. So it's either going to be a current client, it's going to be a future client, or it's going to be a future partner that is going to tell other individuals about us. Yeah. And that's going to be based upon how I work and treat them. But and a client doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be in my martial arts program. They may only do the 2-hour self-defense, or every year for the next 5 years, they might do the summer camp because they're at summer camp age. Right. So we can't think linear anymore, or at least we shouldn't anyhow. We should think so much more broadly with that. I'm sorry to cut you off, Ali, but I just want to make that point.
That's perfect, because it's funny, I've been trying to stay quiet, right? Because I had one of my clients said that they just started listening to your podcast and mine and your podcast. And they said, I think I found someone that out-talks you. Dwayne out-talks you. And I go, I don't think Dwayne would say that for a heartbeat. I go, you might have just got him on a good day when I didn't talk so much. But anyway, I had a lady who is the au pair nanny of these 2 twin boys. I've never met the parents, never once saw the mother, and now they're up for sign up, and the mom's like, oh, well, we want to take off during the summer, we don't want to sign up for the year, all these objections. But anyway, the point of the matter is that the nanny said to me, she goes, I love the program. She goes, I've already told 6 of my other friends that are nannies for some wealthy people in the area. So like, she loved it so much and saw a difference in the kids, even though that the parents are not going to sign those kids up. She was right behind us. Like you said, you never know who you're making friends with or who you're dealing with and what layer, how deep the layers go. So that's important. But for Gus, I think that, you know, we always talk about this. The offer is important, and then tweaking the offer to be able to find the right offer for you or change it up. And, you know, I think that's an important thing that school owners need to understand. It's not only
by treating her, the kids that she's a nanny to well, and she saw how you did that. You, what you have found is you found a potential influencer, right? Now she only has a certain amount of influence, because we all only have a certain amount. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but she now influenced people potentially to check you out. And again, who knows? Those kids, 1, might come back, but 2, they may come to some sort of event or series of events. I can't tell you how many times I've had kids do birthday parties year after year that have never ever done a martial arts class, don't even want to do a martial arts class. But every time they bring 20 of their friends, I get all of those leads, and I'm following up on all of those leads for them to do martial arts with us, to do a self-defense course, to do summer camps, to do parents' night outs. So there is, or I should say there are no bad leads. There's bad follow-up, but there are no bad leads, because you don't know what they potentially can become or influence.
And by the way, every lead is a lead, and there were no guarantees back when I started. You ran an ad in the paper, and it's like rolling the dice in Vegas. You hope it hit. If it didn't, you'd run another ad with a different picture. I remember having those every month. I'd get from NAPMA or whatever it was, Maya. They give you a pre-made ad on paper, and you give that to your art guy, and he'd put it in the newspaper with your name and your logo. I mean, and they were always constantly changing ads, trying to get a new thing. I mean, I found an ad that worked. I stuck with that ad, because if it was working, I wanted to keep on running it. I think that a lot of school owners don't understand that they have to tweak it until they find it. And then once they find it, stick with it. And then you could always play around with offers to see if it goes up or goes down. Right.
Well, the nice thing about hiring somebody like Gus is that he's working with so many other school owners that he knows what's working and what's not working. I'm sorry to cut you off, Gus. You probably were going to say that.
Right. What about you?
And I want to say something like about just the ads in general. I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't think of marketing as like something that needs to be consistent. But, you know, as you guys know, because you guys run ads year round, whether it's like slower months or whether it's like, you know, the great months, we're still running ads, right? So I think that's what makes the biggest difference, whether your marketing is going to be successful or not. Because think about anything, right? It's like, think about like success in general. It's not something that you did, you know, yesterday or a week from now. It's the accumulation of things that you did consistently. So same thing, you know, same principle applies to marketing, right? If you're marketing for, you know, a week and then you stop, and then you're marketing every other week, or, you know, you're never going to really build that snowball effect and really start seeing that consistency and those X amount of students that you want every single month, because things are kind of all over the place. And yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with anything, right? Anything we do in life. If you go to the, you know, you're a health coach, Dwayne. So if I work out once, you know, if I work out 4 days in a row and then I stop for 3 weeks, like what's going to happen? Nothing, right? So same thing with marketing. It's, you have to be consistent. And one thing that we do that's really cool is obviously we manage everything for you. We set up everything for you, and we're actually testing different things. So the reason why we can run ads year round is because we're always switching the creatives, which are going to be the images and the videos. We're always switching the ad copy. We're always testing different audiences. We're always changing it up, because, you know, you might have an ad that can be good for a few months, but then it dies down. So we have to get creative with these things, with these offers, with the ad copy, with the headlines, and that's something that we do very well, which allows us to, number one, obviously stay consistent with the results, but also just build that snowball effect where, you know, 1 month you just have a flood of people coming in, and like you said, even if you don't get them right away, like even for my own company, like I have people in my email list, I have people on my phone list that I literally like send a big message like every single month, if not twice a month. And there are people that have been on my list for like years, and you know, I have people actually, you know, take me up on some of the offers because I'm constantly launching new offers. And you can do the same thing for your school, right? You launch a new offer, you get people excited, and you bring them in. So that's something that we're doing that I think is very important when it comes to actually keeping things fresh, keeping people excited, and keeping people coming in.
And you know what? You know what's interesting? You know, I normally like to point out that sometimes school owners think a little bit limited when it comes to marketing, right? So the one thing that I want to point out though too is it's not you again. People have this adversarial mindset, even in the dojo. It's me and you're teaching my kids. If you don't teach my kid and they don't learn, then they're mad at you. They never take on the team approach. And the same goes for marketing. Like, I hired you, Gus. Oh, you didn't do it for me. I'm going to fire you and hire someone else, rather than trying to find out what's wrong, because it's probably you're going to repeat the same process with a new guy, right? It's not going to just all of a sudden he knows every secret in the world and you're going to start killing it. So it's important for the school owner to have open conversation. I always tell you, I'm like, Gus, it's a little slow right now. Can you do anything? You're like, yeah, let me get in there and start reworking those ads, you know, or whatever. Let me get it out there and push it a different way, say it a different way. And then I'm like, oh yeah. And then you ask me, has it ticked up a little? I'm like, yeah, that really did it. Now we're getting leads coming in. So I think it's about finding this partnership, like entrusting your marketer, trusting your advertiser, just like you should trust your instructor, and let them work with you to help you find the problem and fix it. Because the bottom line is, I want leads. That's all I care about. And you want me to get leads, because if I'm happy, you're making money, and you're making money if I'm happy, you know, all that stuff. And we got to understand that it's not a me against you kind of mindset.
Yeah, of course. And obviously, like, you know, it's a team effort, because I mean, I can only do so much when it comes to, you know, getting, you know, with the system, with the coaching. But at the end of the day, just like anything in life, right? We have to take action. The school owner has to follow up. The school owner has to enroll them. And yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that I've seen when it comes to like clients that are successful and clients that aren't successful, it really just comes down to the mindset, to be honest. And then obviously putting in that work with the follow up, and you know, being able to get that you know, that streamlined, and getting in the habit of following up, even if like you hate it, like, you know, nobody likes following up, right? But those are skills that are gonna stay with you forever. That you can, you know, if you can hire somebody to do that, you can teach them the exact same thing. So, well,
the fortune is in the follow up. I mean, that's just where it is. And if you don't become a master of following up and be disciplined to do it, then you're going to get, you know, results that are going to be really, really bad. And then unfortunately, it's going to be blamed on you as the marketer. Well, you didn't bring me in qualified leads. And that goes back to, you know, what I had said earlier. Maybe a more simplistic way of saying it is, when you buy a deck of cards, how many cards are in there?
54.
Right. 54. Right. So you have 2 jokers, right? You have 4 aces. You have 4 kings, 4 queens, 4 jacks, and then so on and so forth, right? And so you mix that sucker up and you flip one over and it's a number 2. So now I got a 2. And what does a number 2 not do? They just don't fill out the next step and make an appointment, you know. But you flip the card, number 6 comes in, they make the appointment, but they don't show up. So you can see the analogy there. It's just flipping the cards over and over. Now, it's not to say, again, that a number 2 won't come do other things with you, or won't tell other people about you, or even just in passing. So, oh yeah, I've heard of them before. Like, I mean, that's still an opportunity. So you only get so many cards in a deck, and that's the same thing when you get these leads coming in. Only a certain amount of them are going to convert anyways, but you have no idea what type of influencer they potentially could be, or relationship that you potentially could have with those individuals. Sorry, Ali, I cut you off.
No, you didn't. That's part. It's funny. Like my wife, she gets mad at me when I interject while she's speaking, and then she'll stop talking, and I'm like, I might just say, yeah, and she stops, and like, don't interrupt me while I'm talking. So I don't mind that at all. Of course, we have to talk about things. So I think that another point that you made, Dwayne, which is super important, is sometimes we have to look at each phase of the process and then say, okay, if it were Gus advertising and we got no leads, then it would be Gus's fault maybe. So Gus needs to fix the ad so that we could get leads. If we get leads and they don't sign up for a class, it's literally out of Gus's hands. But now some school owners will blame him. Oh, they didn't call because the leads sucked. Okay, well, maybe if Gus is marketing, a mental institution and he's only sending his ads out to people who are institutionalized and they can't come, like that's a bad place to be, right? That's just, or a prison where they're not going to be able to come. But if he's sending it out to the general public and people are responding, now we have to look at it and go, how many people did we get to come in? Maybe there's a mistake or a flaw between that step 2 and 3. Ad worked, they called or inquired, they set up an appointment, but they didn't show up. Maybe now we have to do something else to get them to show up. And then when they show up, if they don't sign up, we have to say, oh, what can we do to get more of them to sign up? There's many phases along the way. And if school owners would only focus on getting better at all of those things, even if you tweaked all your leads by 2%, imagine like you had 200 leads a year and you only closed like, 100 of them. You have 100 leads that if you tweak that by 2 or 3%, that would add, another 10, 12, 13 people to your roster. Does that make sense? We lost them.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, but I just, I think it's important and I'm glad you brought that up because, we need to understand as school owners, or we should, I guess not should, it is recommended that we look at all areas of our business and not just the funnel that's coming in. But like you said, Gus can't dictate what they do, whether they make an appointment or not, whether they show up,
right.
None of that. And you know what, we as quote unquote, right, martial arts professionals, we're martial arts professionals. Mm-hmm. We need to follow up and find out why they didn't come in.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say how many times we called and said, oh yeah, my car broke down, or my grandfather just went to the hospital, or we just got COVID, or there is a lot of them, not all, but quite a few of them have legitimate reasons why they didn't make it in.
Yeah. I had a lady the other day in her like mid 40s, right? And she was so excited. We were texting like we were dating, like, oh, I'm so excited to meet you. Great to have you come in. And then the day signed to come in, she didn't show. She ghosted me after that. Like, I guess she got nervous and she was afraid or something happened, so we have to find out what's going on. Just don't give up.
One thing I want to add to that is, I know we mentioned a lot of different things, but this is kind of what we realized, going in. Like now we call ourselves more of an acquisition agency versus a marketing agency, because, we understand that there's so many steps to everything that it's not just about getting leads. If people are not getting leads, or if people are not showing up, like we still have strategies that we do to combat those things, right? That doesn't mean like, oh, I just wanted to clarify that. It doesn't mean like, oh, people are not showing up, it's your fault, right? That's not how it works. So we try to come up with solutions for these things, right? Like for example, if there's no leads, we try different ads, we try different angles. If the appointments are not showing up, we can try giving something away as an incentive. If they show up, we can try doing a paid trial where they can prepay before they come in. We can try targeting better demographic or radius areas. If they come in but they don't close, we actually, look at the person's sales process, see what they're doing, see how they're structuring their pitch and their presentation. And then, yeah, obviously, like there's so many things and so many components that we realize, like we really have to educate people, school owners on how to do this. And yes, it's work, but at the end of the day, once you learn how to do this, once you learn how to have an acquisition system that brings in students every single month, and then obviously you have a good retention rate, you can really grow your business, for years and years to come and really get to where you want to be. So that's something that we're really focused on. Like I said, we're not just a company that brings you leads. We're a company that helps you, have that whole process smoothened out so that we can actually enroll people and continue to grow our business, which is what everybody wants. It's not just we're really focusing more on the coaching aspect at this point. We're going to be launching like a 2.0 type of marketing system where it's really going to be all about that. And yeah, it takes work just like anything. I look at all the stuff I do and I'm like, man, this is a lot of work. Like I'm tired. But at the end of the day, if you want to, reach a certain level of success, you have to put in the work, even if it means, putting yourself out of certain roles, like, hiring somebody to do the follow-ups or, hiring a salesperson. So those are things that we really, focus on, that we're really excited about. And like I said, consistency is the biggest thing when it comes to marketing, and just having that right mindset of, and not taking things personal. Because I feel like, if somebody doesn't show up or, if somebody doesn't close, I feel like people take that personally. But at the end of the day, like if you just try your best and learn from your mistakes, I think it's just a matter of time before you really dial it in and, improve your systems and be able to make things happen consistently. So
I know we're coming up on time here. So let me ask you this. Can you give us the services? I know you kind of already talked about them a little bit, but the services that you do, like the Facebook and the Instagram and all those things. Let's quickly cover that first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as far as we have pretty much every type of platform. Our bread and butter is going to be Facebook and Instagram, obviously. We do have TikTok included in our main flagship program. And then really, there's really two options, right? For people that want to go ahead and do it themselves and just kind of run with it. And then for people that don't have time and that want this done for them. So, whatever platform it is, one of the things that I noticed that makes people successful when it comes to running good and consistent marketing campaigns is number one is their mindset, and number two is the system. I've had people try my system, and some people are successful and some people are not. And the biggest thing that we've noticed is the mindset and actually following the system, looking at the video training, using the software and the follow-ups. And really, that's just anything you do. That's really what you're buying. You're buying a system. Like, for example, McDonald's, you're buying a McDonald's, not a burger. You're buying a system that's already proven to work. So that's really what I want to emphasize on. Whatever platform you use, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you have the right system to get people from becoming a lead, not knowing about you, to actually coming in and becoming a paying student that's going to stick with you forever.
And if I can encourage the listeners, and I know I'm cutting you off, Ali, so I guess I am talking a lot on this podcast, but
that's okay.
I would say delegate everything except your genius. Delegate everything except your genius.
Did you mention that, or did you mention that, Gus, on one of a book that?
Well, yeah, it's from
right? Zone of Genius.
What's the book? Say that again. You cut out.
Have you heard of the Zone of Genius?
Zone of Genius. It's a book.
No, yeah, but I bet you that the person, whoever wrote that book, is a protege of Dan Sullivan, because Dan Sullivan's Who Not How talks about, delegate everything except your genius. And so I really, really believe that. My genius is not in Facebook marketing. It is not in Insta, Snapchat, Gram, all that other stuff.
Right.
I know it is. I know it's important, but and before I hired you, I had quit Facebook ads. I was tired of learning the stupid algorithms, all of that crap. I probably didn't run Facebook ads for 3 years before we met.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to spend time learning this. I'm going to just have an expert do it.
Yeah.
And be done. So I would just say everybody delegate everything except your genius. And if that's where you want to be, like if you want to be a Facebook advertiser, then maybe you need to start your own marketing agency, and stop running your martial arts school. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I want to point out, Dwayne, is I'm going to call you out a little bit. You are one of the biggest skeptics when it comes to, getting started to work with me. So what would you say to people that are skeptical, that are just, they're kind of, they spend 5 months, not that this is you, right? But they spend 5 months looking for the perfect marketing agency or the perfect channel. Like, what would you say to those people?
And by the way, I recommended Dwayne, and I had already had a success rate with you that was doing well, and he was still a little skeptical because sometimes it's too good to be true. And then that's where he came on with that.
I think my problem was I don't understand Facebook anymore, and that wasn't my problem. But I know a lot. I don't want to say I know too much. I know a lot about marketing. And so I really wanted to make sure that you knew what I knew about marketing before I was going to let you touch my school. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And after having multiple conversations with you, I was like, and then I can't say that it didn't help that, Allie was already working with you, because it did help sway that. But having multiple conversations with you, and then obviously Allie having success with you, I'm like, all right, good. Let's just do it. And full transparency, I think it was in the beginning, I'm only going to do a $500 ad spend, and then after a while I was like, okay, let's move it to $750. And then after a while, okay, let's move it to $1,000. I mean, so there was still a trust factor, financially for me, but now, I mean, if I spent $2,000, as long as I'm getting it, that and more in return, I don't care.
Well, isn't that, and I know we're over our normal time, but if we could, because we started like 10 minutes late, so maybe we could stay on a few minutes longer. But I think that's a big dilemma, like for people in general, right? Where they get really nervous of expenses. Like, I don't want to spend too much, right? Or I'm spending so much and I only got this amount of response, or, they kind of find a way to talk themselves out of good things because maybe you're uncomfortable with investing. You're uncomfortable with putting that money in and spending a little bit of time, tweaking and refining the ads. For me, I always look at it like, look, if I'm growing and my school has been growing and I'm constantly getting leads, why would I shut that off? Like, I want to look at myself and say, what could I do better to close more people? Like, our other sponsor on both of our podcasts, whether it be, martial arts school owner talk or marketing for martial arts school marketing for school owners with Gus and I, one of our sponsors is Academy Kings. And remember, Dwayne, he said that 25% of the people that don't buy initially, if you stay with them, they sign up. Percentages, those 25% of the people that are what most people call dead leads, they're going to come in and sign up. But if you're quitting and giving up, and, a lot of people will say things like, I have clients who go, I don't want to bother people, man. I don't want to become a pest. I don't want to, would you do that if you were selling $1 million home? Like, would you just go, I've tried, like, I don't understand it.
Are you opening your bills while you're talking to us?
No, I'm actually, I did my payroll, and as we were waiting, because I'm late now, I usually do my call at 11:30, so I'm going to push that on you. So I just did my payroll and filled my envelopes. But yeah, I mean,
wait. You do payroll physically? I just press buttons on my.
No, I actually, my accountant sends me the checks, and I print them on my printer, and I just stick them in the envelopes.
Gotcha. Right. Deposit, my friend.
Yeah. Some of the people I've tried and they haven't given me their information yet. So those are the ones that are on hard copy. But so with that being said though, like, you have to really kind of look at all these things. I think school owners are sometimes trying to find a way of find a reason that it's not working, but not trying to say, hey, what can I tweak and be better at? Or what can I learn? What book could I read? I just spoke to our friend Kenny Bigby today. He said, hey, Allie, how you been? Do you have any books you could recommend to me? I'm like, yeah, I said Atomic Habits and Upstream. He's like, okay, I'm going to buy them and read them. Like he's always in search of knowledge,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Gus, before we let you go, how can everyone get a hold of you to interview, grill you like I grilled you in order to see if they want to use your services?
Yeah, they can just go to leadhuntermedia.com, or they can just find me on Facebook, Gus Lopez, or just join our group, Martial Arts Marketing for School Owners. We do, obviously me and Ali do a podcast there, and then we post a lot of good content on there, even if you're not ready to start marketing and you just want some great ideas. So,
and do me a favor on this thread, in this group here, put your info in there, and then also put the other one, put the other group too.
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Ali, you'll take care of that?
Yeah, I'll put it in. I'm typing it in right now.
You're on it. So, and Gus, I appreciate you, especially at last notice. I think we asked you yesterday to come on and be a part of this podcast. So we appreciate you squeezing some time for us, even though we had some technical difficulties in the beginning.
No worries. Yeah, thank you for having me.
And he said to me behind the scenes, I have to have this shirt on air. This is I have to show people this shirt from Pura Vida, right? From Costa Rica, like such pure life, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
You bet. And I just want to remind everybody that go to schoolownertalk.com to look and get different or past episodes, or go on to any platform and look us up. It is actually schoolownertalk.com when you look it up, and make sure it's like a URL, schoolownertalk.com, in order to get that information. Anything you want to say, Ali, before we go?
Well, I just want to thank our sponsors. One is Gus from Lead Hunter Media. Two is Spark membership and the best damn software around. And then the other one is Academy Kings, elite insights and health coaching for yourself, right? So
Yep. And I'll play the outro as we go through.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Gus.
Take care.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Martial Arts School Owner Talk podcast. This would not be possible if it weren't for the support of our amazing sponsors. Please check out Elite Insights for all your website needs. LeadHunterMedia.com, your online digital marketer and content provider. Academy Kings BJJ Growth Consulting and Management Group at GrowMyAcademy.com. SparkMembership.com, hands down the best martial arts software for school owner management on the planet. GetKarateStudents.com, a martial arts growth consulting company for all your systems. AddHealthCoaching.com, helping school owners create a whole nother revenue stream